What is your thoughts on where Chris Jericho is now? Like just in general, like his stance or his what's the word I'm looking for? Like his
position.
His position. There you go. His position as an all-time great, where he stands amongst his peers from his era and all time. Like, is he? I don't want to say he's ruining his legacy, but is he hurting his legacy in any way?
That's a great question. Because Kevin, 3 years ago, everyone was saying that Chris Jericho is like on the Mount Rushmore all time, that he's one of the goats for what he was doing with AEW and how he won their world title, and he was genuinely pretty good then. Now it's like he did nothing for like a year and a half. Oh, but Kevin, like dinner debonair with MJF, pal. Like, he's bled a few times. He's fell on a mattress. He's done commentary a bit. He's fallen in mimosa. He's punched Eddie Kingston as flabs falling everywhere from both men. Like, what have we seen? And now he's feuding with Jon Moxley. Like, the last 2 years for Jericho, to answer the legacy question, I don't feel like he's done himself any justice as far as putting himself, further up the echelon of like, the all-time greats. Because like if you're doing tiers with this type of stuff, is Chris Jericho a tier one wrestler, like with your Austins, your Hogans, your Rocks? Is he in that tier?
I don't think he is. No.
Right.
I mean that tier is reserved for guys that spend a good amount of time as the number one guy in WWE.
Yeah.
Or as a top champion, or as a top draw, or a consistent main eventer. Jericho, he just spent too much time in the mid card to really be in the tier one. Like that part of his career disqualifies him. Like, yeah, Jericho's done enough. He's had enough great moments, great matches, great segments, great rivalries to be in conversation for that tier one. But I mean, he can't carry a wrestling company. That's his biggest thing, is that he just can't carry a wrestling company. He can't be the number one guy.
Yeah, and I think like you're looking at these tiers. Like tier one's obviously Undertaker, Austin, Rock, Hogan, Cena, those types. I
Triple H
in tier one.
Yeah, Brock too.
Well. Triple H.
Sure. Yeah.
Angle. I'd put Angle as like the kind of lower tier one, and then you got like tier two, which is Jericho, Orton, those types.
Yeah,
Edge. Shawn Michaels is probably like smack bang between the two tiers, in my opinion. But like you have all these types.
Yeah, and Batista's in there.
But I think Jericho falls somewhere in there. Like I'd say in 2019, with what Jericho was doing, the fact that, oh my God, AEW is this new company. Jericho is the pioneer of this. He's the champion. He's doing some really good work. He's reinvented himself again. He's got a new gimmick. He's like the face of it. Oh my God, Jericho's in tier one now, like that type of thing. But as I said, the last 2 years, Orange Cassidy poured orange juice on him. Oh, he's in a bath of mimosa, pal. Oh, he's punching Eddie Kingston. They're both bleeding everywhere. Oh, Jericho's got thumbtacks in his eye now. It's like, it's just, I don't know. Jericho's commentating AEW Dark Elevation with Taz. Like, tier two.
Like, yeah, for sure. No, he is. And I just think about his AEW career. He doesn't fit anymore. He never really fit from the beginning, I think. I mean, he's becoming a guy that held on too long. His last great run was that 2016 run with Kevin Owens. That 2015, 16, 17 run that he had with the scarf of Jericho and the list and things along that nature. That was like, I think that was the end of his, like, any kind of version of a prime. Now what we get from Chris Jericho is he can have a good match if there's weapons involved. He can do a good death match, a good hardcore match, what have you.
Well, remember the pizza cutter? That's a great, Kevin. That's a hardcore classic, pal. Just fire up your Peacock or whatever subscription service AEW will sell their soul to in the next year. Fire that up and watch Jericho with a pizza cutter. Oh.
Yeah, and then on top of that, the out of the ring stuff. The the COVID, the masks, the Trump
Lord.
stuff,
Pal,
the vaccine.
Chris Jericho allegedly tried to kill Jake the Snake Roberts because he didn't wear a mask, pal.
Yeah.
I saw that on Twitter in 2020. Oh, Jericho's trying to kill Jake the Snake Roberts. I never forget that tweet. Anyway, carry on.
No, yeah. Like that's where we're at with Chris Jericho. He's more famous for the things that happen outside of the ring, and then another big hit to his legacy too was that whole NBA Twitter.
Oh my god!
That whole NBA Twitter incident where, these people know who Chris Jericho is. They do. Everybody on NBA Twitter knows who Chris Jericho is because Jericho was around in the Attitude Era, the Ruthless Aggression Era, et cetera, et cetera. He was around when Jeff Hardy was on top. They know who Jericho is, but they're watching Jericho now in 2020 as he's an out of shape version of himself, gray hair, balding, shell of himself in the ring. They're watching this version of Jericho and they're like, "What is this? Like, who is this guy?" I remember Chris Jericho when I was a kid. Chris Jericho was in great shape. Chris Jericho was this. I remember the highlight reel. I remember this, that. Yeah. And NBA Twitter just roasted him, and that really put him in perspective. It was really like, wow, yeah. Now it's like he's on. To the common person, it's like, oh, Chris Jericho wrestles for this company I've never heard of. Like this is a WWE. What is this?
Yeah, I think that was really the moment, like the bubble burst with Jericho, and then NBA Twitter burst the bubble, and from then on, it's just it's been further downhill, pal.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.